What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a hoot and a holler, a true banger of a video. In today's video, we're talking about my favorite crackhead. But before I go any further, we have an important event this weekend, ladies and gentlemen. If you live in the Boston area, make sure you come on out to the Pine Park 420 meetup. Ladies and gentlemen, we are dropping some new flavors in dispensaries all across the state of Massachusetts, but we're pulling up to Beverly, Massachusetts, which is just a bit north of Boston, to do a meetup. All you got to do is be 21 and up to attend the dispensary, and 18 and up to attend the after party little sesh event we got going. So RSVP, and the link to that and all the additional details will be in the comments. You can check the picture I threw on screen for the address and everything, or go to the Pine Park social medias and there will be info posted there. Hey, I'm excited to see you guys there. I can't wait to meet you all. The last meetup we did was an absolute hoot. 2 meetups ago, someone showed up and gave me DMT, and another guy offered me blow. So we'll see how this one plays out. Hey, hope you guys enjoy the video. Without further ado, actually, there is further ado. Only Gas, ladies and gentlemen, $50 hips back in stock, and baller jars are available now of live resin. So head on over to Only Gas. All right, let's dive right into it. Now, this video was actually inspired by a tweet that I'd made kind of recently where I talked about the old food stamp finesse back in Illinois. You see, a very common practice is people who have EBT cards, or in Illinois we called them link cards, or they had food stamps. What they do is they'll go to stores and find somebody who is willing to buy groceries off their card and give them cash in exchange. Typically, they'll use their card to get you, let's say, $200 of groceries, and then you give them $100 cash, or sometimes even less. This is something that I partook in quite a few times, and I even had a plug for it. And we're going to talk about that plug today, because this guy was by far my favorite tweaker. Now, this took place back in early 2020, right after I had moved out of my mom's house, and when I was absolutely broke. I'm talking piss broke. Now, at this point, I had just gotten my car. I had grabbed that Volvo 240 that I used to talk about in my videos, so I was able to get around town. I was like a little bit on my feet, but I was still broke, and Dollar Tree was a lifesaver for me. I would go to Dollar Tree all the time because at this point, things still actually cost $1. Now, I don't know if there's anything left in that godforsaken establishment that still costs $1. We should be able to sue them for that. It's called Dollar Tree. None of it's $1, bro. It's false advertising. All right, whatever. I don't want to speak too much. They might do me like Epstein. I can't go like that. Either way. So, I used to go to Dollar Tree a lot because it was a lifesaver. It was one of the only places that I could really afford to stock up for the week. And on one particular day, I don't remember exactly which day this was, I had gone to Dollar Tree, and a dude who, for the rest of this video, we're going to refer to as, what are we going to call him, dude? Let's call him Terry. I like Terry. Terry's a good name. So Terry approached me when I got to this Dollar Tree, and he was standing by the door, and he just came up to me and he was like, link card, link card. He didn't even say shit. He was just like, link card. And listen, at first I didn't really understand what he meant. I kind of just brushed it off and walked past him. And I got inside the store and I was like, wait a minute. Link card, like, what does he mean, bro? Because at first I didn't process. I didn't have a link card myself. And then I realized, I was like, wait a minute, that's food stamps. Like, what is he talking about, link card? So I spun right the fuck back outside, and I was like, what you mean, link card? Like, are you about to give me one? Like, what are you talking about? I thought this dude was about to, like, sell me a loaded link card for the low, which I was down for. I was like, bro, I need that right now. Like, tap me in, plug. And so I came back out, and we chat a little bit, and he's like, no, like, I'll buy you shit with the link card. Give me cash. So I'm like, all right. Come on in, dude, bet. I had never done this before, but it was something that I had heard of. Cody, my old roommate and homie, he had a link card, and he told me about this as well, how this was something that sometimes when you need cash, you could do. Just go to the store and get some cash off it, buy some groceries for someone. So I was like, bet, all right, fine, I'll take a discount on my stuff. And I asked him, I'm like, well, how much you want me to pay? Like, what's my budget here? Like, what are we doing? And he's like, whatever you grab, just pay me half. And I was like, bet. Say way less, Terry. We are locked the fuck in. So my budget on this day was like 20 something bucks, right? And I had very, very strict grocery shopping requirements at this point. You see, I've talked about this a bit in the past, but at this point, I was living off essentially one of like 3 sources of food. It was either A, I had a homie who would give me Pizza Hut coupons, so I would buy Pizza Hut pizzas for like $5 a pop, get like 2 or 3 of them, and just live off them for like over a week. I would be eating like 8-day-old Pizza Hut. Listen, it was kind of shameful. Or option B was I'd go to Dollar Tree and we'd get eggs, we'd get bologna, and bacon was a luxury, but sometimes I could find turkey bacon there if I was lucky. Otherwise, we were doing like eggs, bologna, and sausage, right? And I had this electric griddle because my stove didn't work, and that would just be my meal, breakfast and dinner. I'd usually skip lunch. We're eating eggs, bologna, and maybe some sausage. And then I'd throw in some other struggle food in there, and that was my diet. But on this particular day, we had more wiggle room, so I was able to have a bit more fun with it. I was in there grabbing the frozen little $1 pre-made TV meals, which at that point were like a luxury, because I could make the non-TV meal and the non-prepared stuff last way longer for me. So normally at this point, I wouldn't grab a ton of the TV dinners. But at this point, I was like, hey, they're 50 cents a pop with homie Terry. Lock it the fuck in. And Terry is just kind of like following me around the store. At this point, we hadn't spoken. We didn't really know each other at all. This first encounter was very awkward. So I grabbed my stuff, I loaded up. We go to the cash register. And I don't remember exactly what the total was, but I remember I gave him, I think, $20 cash, and that was that. And I got a lot more than $20 worth. So it was absolutely fantastic. But on our way out of the store, we exchanged phone numbers, and I told him, I was like, yo, man, like, whenever you want to do that again, hit my line. I'm definitely down. Like, that was great. I love that. And he was like, bet. He was super happy too. He was like, yeah, thank you, man. You really helped me out. I appreciate it. So win-win for everybody. And I went the fuck home. Now, a few weeks to a month later, I don't remember exactly how long it was, Terry banged my line. And I'm not going to lie, I never expected to hear from this dude again. But he actually banged my line. He called me one day, and this is how I knew he was a real OG. Like, this man never texted. He would just call and leave a voicemail if I didn't pick up. So he rings me up, like, a few weeks later, and he's like, hey, man, like, my link card's filled up, Like, do you need any groceries? And I was like, yo, absolutely. I wasn't really dying to get some groceries at this point, but I wasn't going to pass up his offer. And he called me at exactly the perfect time, because I remember I had just gotten paid. I had literally just gotten some money into my account, and I was so ready to actually buy some real groceries this time. So I was like, bet. We going to Walmart, baby. Hey, that's where real groceries were for me, okay? We going to Walmart. Hey, Middle America, baby, all right? You guys out here in LA, we got it good, all right? We got our Erewhon, okay? I got like 9 grocery stores near me, all right? Back in Springfield, Illinois, all right? We had Walmart and then all the shit I couldn't afford, all right? So Walmart is just where we were headed. Now, Terry asked if I could come pick him up. He's like, yeah, if you want to go to Walmart, like, is there any way you could give me a ride? And I was like, bet, no problem, Terry, where you at? So he tells me where he's at, and I'm a little taken aback because I had never really considered the possibility that Terry was homeless. It's not like there's anything wrong with that, but it just never crossed my mind. I figured like, oh, all right, I'll just go pick him up at Terry's crib. And Terry sends me an address, and this guy's standing outside of a slot parlor in a strip mall. So I pull up to this slot parlor, and he hops in the car, and Terry, listen, although I didn't know him that well, so I didn't really know how he was normally, the first time I'd met him, he seemed pretty calm and collected. This time, this man was fucking lit. He jumps in the car. He's like, what's up, man? Let's go to Walmart. Like, how you been, dude? Good to see you. Oh, I was having fun in the slot. I want some money. Like, this guy was lit. I don't know if that's actually because he just won some money or because he was geeking, but this man was very excited to go to Walmart with me. So I was excited too. It put me in a good mood. I was like, all right, Terry, let's fucking spin this shit, dude. So we head on over to Walmart, and it's maybe like a 15-minute drive from where I picked him up. We ride on up there, and I asked him, I was like, Terry, how much you got on that card? And he had something like, I think he had $400 that he would get on that card whenever it was loaded. It was like $400 or $500. pretty generous for one person. Like, that's pretty damn good, bro. That was like 5 times what my grocery budget was per month. So, like, this guy, hey, he was eating good, I guess, or, I mean, smoking good tweak. I mean, he was getting the cash off it, and I know what it was for, but we'll get to that later. So, either way, we pull up to Walmart, and we head on inside, and I am just having a ball. Now, listen, you're not allowed to get any pre-prepared hot foods with a link card. I don't know if this is like a actually, no, I know it isn't a nationwide policy, because here in California, Taco Bell and McDonald's accept EBT, which, coming from Illinois, where you're not allowed to get any hot or pre-prepared food with your food stamps, blew my mind. I absolutely could not believe it when I saw those signs. But either way, I just had to pick, like, snacks and ingredients, or, like, I could get frozen TV meals, but, like, rotisserie chicken I couldn't go get, right? I couldn't go to, like, the bakery and get, like, a sandwich or something like that. None of that. It had to be, like, stuff off the shelf that you still had to cook, or, like, a bag of chips or something like that, which is a stupid rule looking back at it, honestly. Like, food is food. Like, why it shouldn't really matter that much what type. I guess to an extent, I get it. You know, there's a markup on the prepared stuff, but I don't know, dude. Either way, we're getting off topic here. So, we're in this Walmart, and I am just loading the fuck up. I am absolutely stocking up, and I was in such a good mood. I even asked Terry, I was like, Terry, you know, we were going through the alcohol section. I was like, yo, you want something, bro? I'll get you, like, a little bottle of something. And at first, he was like, oh, no, I don't need nothing, man. I was like, you sure? Like, are you positive? And we're walking past the vodka, and this motherfucker, mind you, I am offering to buy this man a bottle, okay? He can get a better bottle. This son of a bitch grabs a bottle of Svedka. Not flavored, like the plain Svedka, all right? And mind you, this dude, I don't know how old he was, but bare minimum 50 on a good day, all right? You are 35 years past that liquor, Terry. Pick a different goddamn bottle. But I didn't want to say that at the time. At the time, I was like, hey, that's one of the cheaper options, Terry. I love that pick. Like, I know we can't pay for that with your stamps, but hey, that's on me, bro. Like, you're saving me so much money, that's on me. I was so happy. I was just so happy to have Terry here with me, saving me all this money. So, I grab him his little bottle of vodka, and he's just even happier, bro. He's even happier, you know? And the whole entire time, this guy, mind you, was like giving me suggestions on what to buy. He's like, oh, I like those. We're in the chips aisle. He's like, oh, you ever try these? I like these. It's like if you're going to the grocery store and you have your son in the cart, and he's like, Mom, can we get 12 boxes of fruit roll-ups? I really like those. And you got to be like, no, that's not what I'm here for. That's how it was shopping with Terry, right? So, we're going through the aisles, we load up my cart, we get to the checkout, and it come time to pay, and Terry had done this before. Like, this man got in front of me before it was time to check out and just jumped in there. Like, he pulled the cart up, he acted like he didn't even know who I was during this transaction, which I absolutely loved. Like, good on you, Terry. You're experienced with this shit. I think it's illegal. But, you know, who cares, bro? It's a win-win. Terry got high on tweak and I got high on groceries, so we all won. But either way, we check out, we dip on out of there, and I hit the ATM on our way out to grab cash for Terry. I don't remember exactly how much I gave him, but I do know I gave him over $100. I gave him a pretty good amount of money, and this man was ecstatic. This man was absolutely hyped. He was like, thanks, man. Like, he dapped me up, you know, we firm-ass handshake in the parking lot. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. We go back to my car, load up the groceries, and we jump in the car, and I asked Terry, I'm like, well, Terry, like, you want me to take you home, or like, where you need a ride to, bro? And he's like, yeah, I need a ride, but not right now. A little later. And then he just didn't say anything else. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, Terry, what are you talking? Like, what? Like, dog, I gotta go home. Like, what are you on about? Like, he just sat there as if that was just an all right answer. Just like, oh, okay, yeah, you can just chill here. No problem, Terry. Like, I'll drive my car, you know, I'll go home. You know, I'll go inside. You can just sit here in shotgun. Like, what kind of answer is that, Terry? So, at first, I was very taken aback. Like, I didn't really know what to say. I was like, what? Like, okay, all right. So, I turn my car on. I dip out of Walmart. And I just start driving out of there. And I realize, like, where the fuck am I going? So, I asked him, I'm like, well, how soon are you going to need a ride? And he's like, oh, probably like, I don't know. What time is it right now? You know, he checks the time. He's like, oh, probably like an hour. So I'm like, okay, like, all right, well, why can't you go right now? And he was just like, oh, not ready yet, you know, can't go right now. Like, I'm not supposed to be over there yet. So I was like, okay, whatever, no problem. So I end up parking up, right? I pull out of Walmart, I drive for a couple minutes, and right next to this Walmart, there's a strip mall with like a laundromat and another little slot parlor, because this is Springfield, Illinois, right? And there's slot parlors fucking everywhere. So I pull up and I park in this lot, right? And I'm like, fuck it, I guess I'm just gonna roll a blunt, you know? So I asked Terry, I'm like, you smoke weed, bro? And he's like, yeah, I smoke weed, man. I asked him, I'm like, you wanna hit this shit? And he's like, yeah, bro, I'd love to, sure. And he was like, oh, and by the way, you know, thank you for the bottle earlier. And I was like, no problem, man. So we started chatting it up a little bit. I asked him, I was like, Terry, you know, like, what do you do? Like, tell me about yourself. Like, what's there about you? And he's like, oh, you know, I'm a plumber. He kept telling me, he's like, yeah, I'm a plumber. He was really, really into that. He's like, I'm real good at it. I'm good with the pipes and stuff. You know, like I used to plumb hella. And I looked at him, you know, and there was just this like, I don't know. There was this tone to his voice, almost this sadness, where it was like, "Oh, Terry, like you're not a plumber anymore, are you, Terry?" You know, like there was a bit of a sadness. He's telling me about his plumbing, and I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." You know, like that's cool, whatever. So I asked him after that. You know, he asked me a little bit about me. We're going back and forth. I'm telling him about me, and I didn't tell him I did YouTube or anything. At this point in my life, that was still my job, although I was making no fucking money off it. But I never like telling people that I do YouTube for a living because I think it's kind of weird. So I always lie to people. I don't remember what exactly I told Terry I did for a living, but I know that I did lie to him. I did not actually tell him what I did for a living. But either way, through the conversation, eventually the point comes up of like, Terry, why'd you need the cash? Like, why do you need the money? And I asked him, I was like, well, what's up? You know, why do you need the money? And he very bluntly told me that it was for math. Like, no beating around the bush, no like, oh, you know, I got a bit of a problem right now. He just looked at me and he's like, meth. And I was like, damn, all right, bro, that's real as fuck. So after that, I warmed up quite a bit. I was like, oh, you're just trying to tweak, my boy. Like, all right, you know, do your thing, do your hustle. So I told him about my crack story. I started to explain to him. I was like, oh, bro, I get it. Like, you know, I smoked crack when I was 17. And he was like, you smoked crack? He was like, you don't look like the kind of kid who I see doing that shit. So I tell him my story. You know, we start going back and forth. He's sharing his stories with me. He told me about how he started smoking meth, and it was kind of similar to my crack story. He was telling me, he was like, yeah, you know, I was younger, I was a little older than you were though, and I was with some homies, and it was kind of a similar thing where we were just bored and our homie had it, and I hit that shit, and it was fucking awesome. And he just he just fell in love with it, you know. And I wasn't going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm sorry, Terry. Like, I can't give you money anymore because I know you're going to spend it on meth. It's like, no, all right? Terry's going to get that meth money either way. All right? If I ain't gonna buy shit off his link card, someone else is gonna. So I'll be damned if me and Terry ain't linking up and making each other win, all right? So after that, I was like, yo, this is the fucking homie, bro. I rolled up a blunt. I sparked it up. We're smoking this blunt, having a good-ass time. And it turned out that Terry had not smoked weed in a minute. This guy got absolutely fucking fried. I'm talking like, I sparked this blunt. I pass it his way. This dude takes a couple hits. He passes it back, and he is absolutely flambéed within like 10 minutes. He's like, man, this weed is good, bro. Like, this shit's fire, man. What is this shit? What'd you get? And this is right when the dispensaries opened for recreational use in Illinois. So this was some like bullshit Illinois dispo weed. But at the time, it was the best that either of us could get. It was the best I had access to. And it was the best that Terry had been smoking in a minute, apparently, because this man got fried. So we're smoking this blunt and just chatting it up, you know, and I grew very fond of Terry, actually. Him and I linked up a few more times, and then one day I just never heard from him again, which was really unfortunate. He never banged my line. I called him one time. The number was disconnected. Terry just vanished out of thin air. I'd even gone to that Dollar Tree a couple more times to go shopping, and I hadn't seen him there, but to be fair, it's not like I was staking it out looking for Terry. But either way, we're smoking this blunt, just having the time of our lives. It was a hoot, bro. This guy was awesome. I wish I was still in contact with him because oh my God, he would have made the most legendary Gobcast guest. I would have flown this dude out today if I still had his contact, bro. Fuck. God, Terry, wherever you are, bro. Yo, I'm the blonde dude from Walmart. You smoked a blunt with me. If you see this video, get at me, bro. Like, I'll fly you out to LA. We'll have a hoot, Terry. Bang my line, bro. But either way, so Me and Terry are smoking this blunt, just talking shit, chatting it up, just telling stories about, like, drug use, and he's telling me about some of his meth capades, and I'm telling him about my days of hooting and hollering, and my days of hooting and hollering were still very active at this point, mind you, so I was much more inclined to share some good stories with him, and we were just talking shit. It was like we had known each other forever, but really, we barely knew each other at all. After we finished smoking this blunt, Terry was just absolutely locked the fuck in. I'm talking, this dude's fried, and he reaches in the back and grabs this bottle of Svedka that I just got him and just cracks that bitch. Just starts drinking straight out of it. And then he passes it to me and he asked if I wanted some, and that's where I drew the line. Because listen, I was a drug addict at this point, but drinking Svedka straight out of the bottle, no chaser, was well beyond the line that I'd drawn for myself. So I passed on that one. I said, hey, no thank you, Terry. I appreciate it. Now, I don't know how addicted to meth Terry actually was, and also I don't know how often meth addicts smoke. Like, I have friends who have been meth addicts, but it's not like I was around them day in, day out often enough to really see how often they smoked, but Terry never once hit the pookie around me, which I don't know was like a sign of respect or like what it was, but he never hit that shit around me. And he was very open about being a heavy meth addict with me. And he never hit it in my car, like with me at all, which, hey, he could have. He could have. Bro, truth be told, at this point in my life, if Terry busted that bitch out, I might have taken a puff. So maybe it was honestly a good thing that he did not hit it in front of me. Big ups, Terry. But either way, we smoked this blunt, and finally I'm like, all right, Terry, I got to hit the road, bro. Like, you ready to go yet? And he's like, yeah, man, yeah, I'm ready to go. Take me here. And he gave me this address, and it was a house. This time it actually was a house. So I drive him to a house. I drop him off there. Seemed normal, but the couple of times after this that I had gotten him, it was always from a different location, and I never dropped him off at that same house ever again. So I don't know what his situation was. I mean, it wasn't my business. I never directly asked, like, yo, are you homeless? Because it never really mattered to me. But, I mean, had I known he was, I probably would have, like, helped him out. I would have been like, Terry, my dog, like, listen, bro, I mean, my tweaker neighbors have a shed in their yard, and I'm sure, if you let them hit the pookie, you could sleep in that hoe, I mean, I would have given him some money for a hotel or something, but either way, that's the story of my favorite crackhead. My favorite meth head, I guess you could say. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Subscribe if you haven't already. And don't forget to check out the meetup happening this weekend on 420 in Beverly, Massachusetts. Hey, I'll see y'all there. Deuces.